What if I told you that the more free content and value I give away in my own business, the more I attract high quality leads who are really ready to buy and ready to move forward? And I'm gonna walk you through exactly how to use these things in your business right now so that you can attract great quality leads without worrying about how much content you're giving away. Is it too much? Is it too little? What are people going to do with that? Because if you're like most of the coaches, consultants, and experts that I talk up to, they're kind of struggling with the same thing. Do I give away too much? Am I giving away too little? What do I do? We've all been taught, or at least I have been taught, that you have to give away the what and the why, never, ever, ever the how. Because if you give away the how, everything in your business is going to fall apart. People will use it as a band-aid and take action with that. And they're not going to buy from you, because why would they buy from you if you give it away for free, right? And so I came with that belief as well in my own business, and it worked really well for years until I realized that true high-ticket clients are really looking for something different. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through what my experience has been, some of the changes I've been implementing in my own business, and the incredible results that has yielded for me right now, and kind of how powerful this is really turning out to be. So here's the deal. You know, a lot of coaches really struggle with, in terms of content creation, what's too much and what's too little. And for me, this was literally exactly what was going on. I never knew where to kind of set that line, right? Am I sharing too much? Am I sharing too little? Am I being too vague? Am I giving too much? You have like these two really big different types of opinions around it, where you see like Alex Hormozy type people that are giving literally all of these things away for free, but then you're seeing other people that are really being very vague and using, I call it lazy marketing, like where you're, being very vague and using a lot of claims and guarantees to get people to get on the phone with you, but you're not really telling them anything about what you do or how it's different or how it works or any of that. So it's kind of like this thin line, like what do I do? Where do I stand? And so my story is very similar to that. What I was taught was to hold back, never give away the how, because if you're giving away the how, people are going to run with it. They're going to take action on that. They're not going to hire you. They're not going to see a real need for working with you. All of that story. And the first few years in my business, that's literally what I did. I really tried to hold back from sharing some of the how, and it worked, but I also ended up attracting a lot of people that needed a lot of context and a lot of education on sales calls for them to actually convert into buyers. I didn't want that. Like, wasn't the point of my marketing to really pre-sell people so that when they got on a sales call, they would be ready to buy? And so little by little, I started sharing more. I started really creating content that was more and more valuable. Part of what happened there was kind of like a little bit of a Taylor Swift inspired approach, because if you think about somebody like Taylor Swift, you can literally consume her content for free. You can go on YouTube, you can go on Spotify, Apple Music, whatever, and listen to all of her music for free if you wanted to, but people are paying thousands of dollars to watch her live in her concert, like literally me. I just went to Madrid with my 8-year-old daughter to watch her tour there, right? And so why is it that you're getting her content for free and yet you want to pay to work with her? And the truth is that the energy of seeing something live and energy of being coached by somebody live and having somebody look at your specific life, relationship, health, business, whatever you're doing is invaluable. It can't be compared to consuming free content. So I really think that for the right people, this is how they see coaching, right? For people who are truly ready to invest, the buyers, the people that are action takers, who are really committed to fixing their problem, they understand that watching content or doing it on their own is very unlikely going to be enough for them to truly fix the problem at the root. And so for me, I kind of started shifting into that approach little by little in my business, giving away more free content, giving away more free value. And for me, and I'm sure you've noticed this if you've been around for a while, you've consumed a lot of my videos, my podcast episodes, or the things that I'm doing, I realized that, the more that I give away and the more light bulb moments I gave my audience, the more I shifted their beliefs, the more I attracted people. And so, part of my own marketing strategy and the way that I work is that once people consume my content, I invite them to do a 15-minute brand message session with me. And I've been doing that session since 2021. So what happens on that session is that I will look at people's websites or landing pages or content or Google Doc or whatever they have, and I will basically evaluate what's going on in their business and what's going on in their message and some of the things that they can change. These are highly valuable sessions. But here's what happened and where I'm getting at with this story. So I came to a realization a couple of weeks ago that I could go really deeper with giving even more value and giving people the answer for free on that call. Because what happened is that I would be on the call and I would be telling people things like blind spots that they had in messaging and things that were a little bit of the direction that they should take, but I would hold back the total answer because I was afraid of, wait, but if I give away too much, are people going to actually buy from me? Are they going to, like, am I giving them a reason to buy from me if I'm giving them the answer? But I would find myself often on calls thinking, oh, I feel like I need to tell you what it is that you have to do, like very literally and specifically. This is the audience you need to target, or this is the actual problem that you're solving. You're speaking to the wrong thing. But what I would do is a lot of education instead on that 15-minute assessment. Well, yes, I would give people nuggets and information, but not really dive deep into, I'm going to write your message for you. So what happened was literally a couple of weeks ago, I made a decision to do things differently. I was like, you know what? I'm going to actually give away the answer. And part of what happened is that I started analyzing, because I have all of this data of literally hundreds of calls that I've done over the years, and I had all this data of what worked well, what worked best on these calls. And what I noticed is that when I didn't hold back, when I gave people a little bit more of the answer, people would be actually more compelled to want to work with me than if it were the opposite. So I made a decision and I said, let me test this. Let me give people the answer. And what started happening is that before the call, and I'm going to see if I can show you this. If you're watching this on the podcast episode on YouTube, you can see this afterwards. I literally started taking notes. You can kind of see here, and writing all of the answers for them. Like writing, here's what I would do messaging wise, here's what I would say, how I would approach it, all of that. And I started doing these 15-minute assessments in a different way, where yes, there was still a little bit of education happening, but in contrast to before, where I was still giving away a lot of things, I was like, I'm going to give you the full answer. And so since I've implemented those changes, it has only been 2 weeks. Not only have we enrolled 4 people, we have 8 sales calls booked for this week, and people are really blown away. The amount of feedback that I'm getting from that has been more powerful. And so part of me wanting to share this kind of live story with you as it unfolds and what's happening right now in my business and, you know, the growth that we were experiencing, literally, I mean, we've been experiencing throughout the whole year, but in the last couple of weeks, what's happened has been massively powerful. Is really coming back to a principle that is really about abundance, right? From my perspective and how I see it. The more value you give, the more value you get back. That is literally what money exchange is all about, right? The more value you give, the more money you're going to get, the more value you're going to get back. And so for me, while I had always given a lot of value, and if you've done a 15-minute assessment with me, you know that it has always been a highly valuable call. What I decided to do instead was take it a step further and actually tell people exactly what to do and exactly how I would approach messaging. And instead of them saying, okay, great, let me go and do this on my own, what's happening is now people are telling me, okay, great, now how do you help me do this? Like, this makes sense to me. I can see the value in it. I can see how this works. Let me go ahead and implement that, but with you. And it's just been incredibly powerful to experience how this principle of true abundance and love has really changed things. And the reason why I say true abundance and love is that for me, you know, I came back to thinking about, okay, well, how do I serve more? What do I need to do to serve more? Because at the end of the day, and one of the things I often talk about, like, of course I want to make more money. And I hope that you do too in your own business, because I mean, if not, what are you even doing if your intention to build a business isn't to make money? That's a whole other conversation. But for me, I really want to serve, and I really want to serve at my highest level. I want to make a big impact. I want to really connect to my audience. I want to feel like the work that I'm doing really matters, and it's important, and it's valuable, and it's powerful. And, you know, I want to feel like I'm living in purpose every single day more and more. And for me, what I'm really passionate about is the work that I do, is speaking about messaging and helping people with figuring out their own message and figuring out how to really express what they do in a way that is unique, and how to speak to an audience that is ready to buy, and how to connect with people more. And so while I obviously do that on my group calls every single week with my clients, and I do that with my one-on-one clients as well every week, I felt like having the opportunity to talk to so many people each week. Like literally this week I've had over 10 conversations already. Last week I had 15 calls booked, and these are the 15-minute assessments. There's so many people that I get to talk to every single week that I feel like, okay, well, but if I'm talking to so many people, how can I serve them more? How can I give more and more value? How do I show up from a place of love and really care and serving for these people? So that is part of the reason why I decided to bring this into my own message and in the work that I'm doing. Again, the calls that I did before, there had always been a lot of value, but I always felt like I was holding back from telling people the exact final answer. And so what I'm doing right now as a contrast is I'm actually telling them what the answer is. Here's what's going on. Here's what I would change. Here's exactly how I would say it. Here's exactly how I would structure it. Here's how this type of message is going to really affect how you're going to attract people or who you're going to speak to and all of that, and literally give people the answer. And for me, it's been such a fulfilling process and so powerful. But the really interesting thing is that as a result of that, I've grown my business. And I know it's only been 2 weeks of me implementing this, but I can already see the contrast in terms of what's happening with people, how they're responding to me, how they're responding to this process, how they're responding to what I'm telling them, how eager they are to now find out more to work with me. I always had that happen where typically at the end of the 15-minute call, it's not a sales call, but people will often ask, okay, I want to find out more. And I have had people that are like, okay, I'm ready to buy. What's the next step? That happens very often. But right now what's happening is a different level. It's a different level of connection with this audience and a different level of my authority being established. And I think that that's a really powerful process. And so why I'm sharing this with you is that I want you to think about how this can apply for your own business right now. What are the changes that you can do? How do you deliver more value? How do you create a bigger need for what you do? How do you show your audience your level of expertise and how your work can really impact their lives, their businesses, relationships, health, whatever you're doing in a more powerful way? And think about incorporating that and really connecting to that principle of abundance, because at the end of the day, the more abundance you put out, the more abundance you're going to get in. The more value you deliver, the more value you receive. And it can really change your own business as well. Yes, we teach part of this, how to do this 15-minute call, and what we do that within our programs. And we're evolving it as I evolve my own process and I work with my team to really make sure that this is something that is up to date with what's happening right now. But I think that the most important lesson that I can give you around what I'm experiencing in my own business is deliver value. The more value you give, the more value you're going to get back. Don't be afraid to really show up, because for the right people, they're going to invest literally no matter what. Like if they can see the value, they're going to feel like this is exactly what I need right now. So stop holding back from that. That being said, if you want to do a brand message assessment with me, what I want you to do is go to brandmessagesession.com or just look for the link below this episode, whether you're listening on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you're going to look for it. Make sure that you click on the link and book that 15-minute assessment with me. And I'm going to literally give you the answer. I'm going to tell you exactly how to communicate, what you need to say, how do you need to upgrade your message in order to really speak to people that are ready to invest, ready to buy. But beyond that, it's really about how do you articulate your value in a way that makes people feel like I really need to have that. So go ahead and book that call. Make sure that you're following me everywhere. You're subscribing on Apple, YouTube, Spotify, wherever you listen. Leave me a comment below. I'm curious to hear what you have to say and how this kind of resonates with you, what you've been feeling in terms of delivering value. And I can't wait to see you in another episode really soon. Bye.